September 13, 1946. Třešť, Czechoslovakia. A crowd gathers near the castle walls as guards escort a young woman toward an execution post. At just 23 years old, Herta Kašparová is about to face one of the harshest sentences in post-war Czechoslovakia, reserved exclusively for the most despised traitors. But here's what shocks people even today. This wasn't about ideology or politics. This was about revenge. Personal, calculated revenge that cost innocent lives. What transformed an ordinary girl from a railway town into one of the most hated collaborators in Czech history? The answer will disturb you far more than the execution itself. Before we dive deeper, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Here at Timeless World, we uncover the darkest truths history tried to bury. Oh, this story will challenge everything you think you know about betrayal, justice, and human nature. Don't miss what's coming next. Subscribe now. The Girl Who Never Forgot, June 1923. A baby girl enters the world in Třešť, a quiet railway town in the Bohemian Moravian highlands. Her parents, Alois and his wife, name her Herta. The family identifies as Sudeten-German, ethnic Germans living in what was then Czechoslovakia. From birth, Herta faces a challenge that will shape her entire existence. A deformed right leg that forces her to walk with a pronounced limp. In a small town where everyone knows everyone, this disability makes her a target. Třešť had fewer than 3,000 residents. Every day, Herta attended local schools where children can be unimaginably cruel. Former classmates later testified about the relentless mockery she endured. How boys mimicked her dragging walk. Girls whispered and laughed when she passed. The humiliation was constant, cutting deep scars into a girl who already felt like an outsider. But Herta had something many bullied children don't develop: a photographic memory for every slight, every insult, every person who made her suffer. She filed these memories away, waiting for the day when she might have power over those who tormented her. That day came sooner than anyone expected. When everything changed, March 15, 1939. Adolf Hitler's forces march into Prague. The independent Czechoslovak state ceases to exist, replaced by the Nazi Protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia. For ethnic Germans living in Czech-majority areas, everything changes overnight. Speaking German shifts from liability to advantage. The minority suddenly has the backing of the entire Nazi Reich. And for 16-year-old Herta Kašparová, this occupation offers something she's never possessed: power. Around 1940, Herta secures employment with the German criminal police in Jihlava, approximately 30 kilometers from her hometown. Her official title? Clerk and translator. Her actual role? Far darker. Herta works in interrogations. When Czech resistance members or suspected dissidents are brought in for questioning, she translates. She sits through sessions where Gestapo officers extract confessions through torture. She witnesses the full machinery of Nazi terror: the beatings, the psychological warfare, the casual brutality inflicted on people whose only crime was wanting their country back. In September 1942, she receives a promotion to Zlín, the headquarters for regional criminal police and Gestapo operations. This larger city handles serious cases: high-level resistance members, organized underground networks, people who pose real threats to German occupation. Herta Kašparová now sits at the center of the Nazi security apparatus in Moravia. Her translations lead to arrests. Those arrests lead to violent interrogations. Those interrogations produce confessions, often false, extracted under unbearable conditions. And those confessions lead to executions. Czech sources suggest her denunciations and translations contributed to numerous deaths during her years with the Gestapo. But this was just the beginning. The worst was yet to come. 48 hours that sealed her fate. May 5, 1945. Nazi Germany collapses. Adolf Hitler has been dead for 5 days. Soviet forces sweep through Czechoslovakia from the east. American forces advance from the west. Everyone knows the war is over. In Prague, the Czech resistance launches an uprising to liberate their capital before the Soviets arrive. The rebellion spreads quickly through the Protectorate. In Třešť, Czech resistance members overwhelm the small German garrison. They raise Czechoslovak flags, replacing the German banners that have flown over their town for 6 years. And they turn their fury on collaborators. Herta's family home, the house by the railway station where she grew up, is ransacked by angry Czechs. Furniture smashed, windows shattered, possessions looted. For 48 hours, it seems like liberation has finally arrived. Třešť is free. The Germans are gone. But on May 7, 1945, everything changes again. German military forces, primarily SS units, mount a counteroffensive from Jihlava. It's one of the last successful German military operations of the entire war, a desperate attempt to rescue German nationals and punish the Czech uprising. Armored vehicles and military trucks roll into Třešť. The SS retakes control, and they're in no mood for mercy. The uprising has humiliated them. Czech civilians dared to celebrate their defeat. There must be reprisals. There must be executions. But the SS troops aren't local. They don't know who participated in the uprising, who ransacked German homes, who the resistance leaders are. They need someone who knows the town, someone who speaks both Czech and German, someone who can identify targets. They find Herta Kašparová, and they give her power that will doom her forever. Wave the pointing finger, May 7th, 1945. SS soldiers round up Czech men in Třešť. Anyone suspected of participating in the uprising, anyone who might have information, anyone the Germans think needs punishment. Some are actual resistance members. Others are ordinary citizens who celebrated too publicly when they thought liberation had come. A barber, a railway worker, a janitor, men with families, men whose only crime was being Czech in a town the SS wants to terrorize. The Germans need to decide who lives and who dies. They invite Herta Kašparová to make the selections. She climbs into an open vehicle with SS officers. They drive slowly through Třešť, past the detained men, and Herta looks at them. These men she's known her entire life, men from her hometown. Then she starts pointing. Him, that one, and him. No words, no explanations. Just a finger pointing, sometimes a snap of her fingers, a casual gesture that seals a man's fate. Witnesses later testify that Herta identifies 33 people, 33 neighbors, 33 men who will be dead within hours. The executions happen the same day, right there in Třešť. The victims are shot, bodies fall in the town courtyard. The sound of gunfire echoes through streets that had briefly dared to hope for freedom. Among the dead are at least 2 young men who tormented Herta about her limp when they were children. This is documented in multiple sources. These aren't resistance leaders. These aren't dangerous insurgents. These are men whose primary crime was mocking a disabled girl 20 years earlier in elementary school. And now they're dead because Herta Kašparová never forgot, never forgave, and finally had the power to make them pay. But here's what's truly chilling. After the executions, survivors report that she seems satisfied. She settled her scores. The people who made her childhood miserable are dead. She doesn't grasp that she's just committed mass murder. She thinks the SS will protect her. She thinks she'll be safe under German authority. She's catastrophically wrong. Justice comes within hours. Soviet forces arrive in Třešť. The SS units withdraw. The war is truly over. Germany surrenders unconditionally on May 8, 1945. And Herta Kašparová realizes she's in mortal danger. Czech witnesses saw everything. They know she pointed out those men. They know about her work with the Gestapo in Jihlava and Zlín. They know she's responsible for Czech deaths throughout the war. She flees to Austria, and is slipping across the border in the chaos of war's end. She probably thinks she can disappear, become nobody, fade into the mass of displaced persons flooding through Central Europe. But you can't escape what happened in a small town where everyone knows everyone. Survivors talk. Witnesses give statements. The new Czech authorities open an investigation. In 1946, Czech police locate her. They arrest her in Austria and bring her back to Třešť to face trial. Back to the scene of her crimes. Back to the town where she sent 33 men to their deaths. The trial happens in the summer or early fall of 1946 before a people's court. Special tribunals established by Czechoslovakia to prosecute collaborators and war criminals. Witnesses testify. Evidence is presented. And Herta Kašparová speaks words that shock everyone in the courtroom. I know that I caused the death of several people. I acted out of revenge. Revenge. Not following orders, not coerced by the Germans, not trying to survive an impossible situation. Revenge. She admits openly that she sent people to their deaths because she wanted vengeance for childhood bullying, for her family's home being ransacked, for every perceived slight against her. The judges hear testimony from survivors of the May 7th massacre. They hear about Herta's work with the Gestapo. They hear about interrogations, denunciations, and deaths that flowed from her translations and betrayals. The evidence is overwhelming. The verdict is never in doubt: guilty of collaboration, guilty of crimes against humanity, guilty of causing the deaths of Czech citizens. To sentence, death. September 13th, 1946. A large crowd gathers near Třešť Castle. This isn't a secret execution behind prison walls. This is public. Herta Kašparová will die in front of her former neighbors, in front of the families of the men she murdered, in front of anyone who wants to witness justice being done. Contemporary accounts describe the scene: a young woman confronting the ultimate consequence of her choices. A Catholic priest offers final blessings, which she accepts desperately. The execution is carried out. At 6:38 p.m., doctors confirm Herta Kašparová is dead. She was 23 years old, the same age as many of the young men she sent to their deaths. Photographs document the event. These images still exist today, circulating on historical websites, either preserved as evidence of what happened when a nation sought justice for collaboration and betrayal. Herta Kašparová's execution becomes the last public execution of a woman in Czechoslovak history. The brutality of it, the public nature of it, marks the end of an era. Was this justice or revenge? Herta Kašparová was guilty. There's no dispute. She worked for the Gestapo. She translated interrogations that led to deaths. She identified 33 men for execution in May 1945. She admitted to acting out of revenge. She deserved punishment. But the method raises uncomfortable questions about whether societies emerging from trauma can deliver justice without becoming like their oppressors. Compare her fate to that of Karl Hermann Frank, who served as Reinhard Heydrich's deputy and played a major role in the Lidis massacre, where an entire Czech village was destroyed. Frank was also executed in Prague in May 1946. His punishment seemed proportionate to his crimes. He was an architect of Czech suffering, responsible for thousands of deaths. But Herta Kašparová, while guilty of causing deaths and collaborating with evil, operated on a different scale. Her execution was partially motivated by the fact that she was a traitor from within, an ethnic German who'd lived among Czechs, learned their language, befriended them, and then turned on them. Betrayal by one of your own cuts deeper than oppression by a foreign occupier. The lesson we must learn: Herta Kašparová didn't become a monster in a vacuum. She was created by circumstances, by the cruelty of children who mocked her disability, by Nazi occupation that gave her power over people who'd marginalized her, by a system that encouraged betrayal and rewarded denunciation. None of this excuses what she did. None of it makes her less culpable, but it explains how an ordinary person with a disability and a grudge became responsible for dozens of deaths. This is the lesson Třešť teaches us. Evil doesn't always announce itself with obvious signs. Sometimes it grows slowly in the hearts of people who feel wronged, who nurse grievances, who are given power without accountability. Herta wasn't born a monster. She was born a girl with a medical condition into a mixed family in a complicated time. The monster was constructed piece by piece, slight by slight, until occupation gave her the opportunity to unleash years of accumulated rage. And when that opportunity came, she seized it without hesitation or mercy. Today, Třešť remembers the events of May 1945. A memorial stands where the 33 men were executed, honoring them as victims of Nazi terror and collaboration. An allegorical monument commemorates the suppressed uprising and those who died. But there's no memorial for Herta Kašparová. She's remembered only as a cautionary tale, a warning about what happens when personal grievances mix with systematic evil, when revenge masquerades as collaboration, when one person's lifetime of resentment ends with dozens of deaths. The 33 men who died on May 7th, 1945, deserved better. They deserved to see their country liberated, to rebuild their lives, to grow old with their families. Instead, they were murdered in their own town by their own countrywoman working with foreign occupiers. Herta Kašparová received justice. Whether the form that justice took was appropriate remains debatable even today. What other buried truths from history should timeless world uncover? What lessons must we learn about collaboration, revenge, and justice? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And here's what I need you to do right now. Subscribe to Timeless World and hit that notification bell. We're building a community of people who aren't afraid to confront uncomfortable historical truths, who want to understand how ordinary people become monsters, and how societies respond when those monsters are finally held accountable. The real lessons of history aren't comfortable. They're brutal, complex, and absolutely necessary if we want to prevent these horrors from repeating. Subscribe now, turn on notifications, and join us next time as we uncover another truth history tried to bury. This is Timeless World, where the past speaks and we listen.